What's up, YouTube? This is Trey with Kicking Bass and
TV.
I just figured I'd give a review on this kayak, Pelican Icon 100 XP Angler, and just figured I'd give y'all my thoughts on it. It's a pretty good kayak for what you're paying for. You know, you're not spending a whole ton of money. It's pretty comfortable for the most part. You know, I fished 11 hours in it on Sunday here, and you know, it's not bad, but after about 8 hours, it's time to stand up, and no matter pretty much anything you're doing, you know, the human can only sit for so long. Here, and Pelican Premium is pretty comfortable for what you're paying for. You know, you get a pretty good deal. There are straps that are underneath it, behind it, on the sides that keep it from sagging on the bottom, and then your back, it gives you a little lumbar support. But the thing I'm having a problem with is that the straps won't hold tight. After, you know, a couple hours of fishing, setting hooks, it'll start to slack off, and then you'll sag a little, and it can get quite uncomfortable. Every now and then your butt might touch the bottom, and if you have any water in the bottom of your kayak, then boom, you got wet pants, which isn't the most comfortable thing in the world, but it's not the worst. It's tolerable. You know, I've caught many fish out of it so far, and I really don't have that many complaints. The seat here, I'll show it to you, is fairly comfortable. There's the straps on the side to keep your back angle. There's also a strap here, keep your lumbar support. And there's also all these straps on the bottom, which you can tighten up here, and there, and there. And they work pretty good for what they're doing, but after a while, like I said, they may lose some tightness, and then you start to sag a good bit. As far as the kayak itself, you get plenty of storage here in the back. You know, that's where I keep my tackle, other things. As long as you put your scupper plugs in, everything will pretty much stay dry back here. You have your seat well. Your seat sits in there, straps down. I keep my scupper plugs for transportation here up underneath this little latch. It comes with a couple little trays here. This is where I'll keep like my scales, you know, extra baits, anything, pliers. It just keeps it from rolling around too much, and out of the way for the most part. You know, you have some long leg wells here. I have mine mostly to the front because I have pretty long legs. You have two more scupper plugs here, two here. There's a couple holes, I should say. It comes with a rod holder that goes into this little hole, and it really keeps the rod pretty far out of your reach. Unless you have pretty short legs, unless you can scoot up and grab the rod, you know, and not rock the kayak as much, you can grab it, but it's kind of iffy if you're not paying attention too much, because it can flip at any point in time. It is the Icon 100 XP Angler. It does come with this nice latch, plenty storage inside. I just finished spraying it down, so there's a little water. I put normally my life jacket in there, anything else that I don't want to fall out. It's not 100% waterproof, so do not depend on it. And also don't put anything too small, because when you're in the boat, at any point in time, if it leans to the back, whatever's inside can slide all the way to the back, and the only way to get it out is therefore pick up the back end. Other than that, it's a pretty good little kayak. I find the material it's made of is not the best quality that there is. It's kind of soft. I'll show you on the bottom, on the keels here, from dragging it. It gets kind of tore up a little bit. I know they make keel protectors. I'm going to get something for it to prevent it from getting tore up anymore. On this back side here, where it gets drugged the most, I got a pretty deep gouge here. And it kind of worries me. It's not through and through yet. It's just covered with a little bit of mud inside. But I'm going to get some kind of keel protection soon. It kind of, like I said, bothers me. It floats very well. It's not the most stable kayak in the world. You got to remember how much you're paying for it. That is key. It has plenty of handles for picking up. You know, I throw it on the roof of my Jeep there, and it's not the funnest because it's so high, but it's not super heavy, you know, coming in at less than 50 pounds. It's like 48 pounds, I want to say, if I remember right. It's not the worst. It's not the best. Would I recommend buying the Pelican again? For somebody starting out and curious on kayak fishing, like I was, I fished a bass boat my entire life. This is my first time ever in a kayak, and you know, it's been really fun. It's been really fun fishing a kayak because of the simple fact that never in a bass boat can you hook a fish and that fish will drag you around. It'll literally drag your boat around, especially when you get into anything 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds. It becomes a whole different world of fishing because, like I said, it'll drag you. It's a ton of fun. I've been recently looking at a little more expensive kayaks, wanting to upgrade some. Whenever I can financially afford to do so, I will do that, just to try, because I do want to try a pedal drive out, see what that's about. You know, I'll give that a whirl. But it's a fairly decent kayak for what you're getting. You know, for the amount of money you're spending, this is hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. It's a little bright colored for me. You know, they don't have too many color options. I prefer something darker colored, you know, a flat color gray, something that's going to blend in a little more. But, you know, for the price and for getting into kayak fishing, I think it's a great start, to be quite honest. It's a really fun thing to get into. You can go places where the big bass boats can't go. You know, this past weekend we did extremely well. I caught a little over 60 fish. The guy I was fishing with in a kayak as well caught 86 bass in a 12-hour day. And I've never experienced that in a bass boat before. I've never experienced that in anything before, catching bass in those numbers. And it was the time of my life. It's the most fun I've ever had fishing, and it was great. And I can't wait to go do it again. And I will take y'all along next time I go. This seat here sits pretty low in this kayak. And I understand the reasoning why. You know, this kayak is not the most stable. I would not recommend trying to stand in it. It's only 10 foot long and it's not the widest, so it's not that stable. For what you're getting, you know, setting the hook and things like that, retying baits, leaning over, releasing fish, you have no issues. There's no issues at all. No issues with leaning over or, you know, setting the hook. Like I've said, it is not a problem in this kayak. Standing up is just not doable. You know, it's not the widest, it's not the most stable platform, but you have to remember we're under $1,000 price range. You know, once you get into the $1,000 price range, or even $700, $800 with these bigger kayaks, you get more stability, and that's just how it is. That's life. So take it for what it's worth. It's as stable as you're gonna get. It's as stable as you can get for the amount of money you're spending. And like I said, setting the hook, pulling fish through grass, even off to a side, left or right, it's not hard. It doesn't flip. You don't feel like as if you're going over at any point. It's just an all-around decent kayak for the price. I just wanted to end this review by saying thanks for joining Kickin' Bass TV. Please like and subscribe. Thanks and have a great day.